Hello, health champions. Today, I'm going to talk about the top 7 hidden signs of heart attack in seniors without chest pain, and that's super important. Every 36 seconds, someone dies from heart disease. That's not a number I made up to scare you. It's an official statistic from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC. And the most heartbreaking part? More than 70% of them had already received early warnings from their own body. But they ignored them. Our heart is like a silent life partner. It never complains, never asks for anything. It just keeps beating, minute by minute, hour by hour. Until one day, it simply can't anymore. But the truth is, before the heart fails, it always sends signals. Very small, very subtle, easily mistaken for aging, fatigue, or just a busy day. Today, in this video, we'll uncover 7 early warning signs that your body may already be whispering to you about your heart. These signs have been backed by research from the American Heart Association, AHA, the Lancet Medical Journal, and top cardiology experts worldwide. And I promise, if you stay until the end of this video, you'll receive 2 priceless gifts: a guide on how to check your heart health at home, a simple tip from a cardiologist that can reduce your risk of stroke by 30% in just 2 minutes a day. And if what I'm about to share could help someone, a loved one, a friend, don't hesitate to share this video. Because sometimes, just a reminder, just a little concern, can save a life. Let's become the first shield for those silent hearts beating inside our loved ones. Are you ready? Sign number 1. Unusual fatigue. The first cry for help your heart might send is fatigue. Not the kind after a long walk or cooking dinner, but that strange, overwhelming exhaustion where even getting dressed in the morning feels like a chore. Have you ever seen a loved one, someone usually energetic, suddenly reluctant to go outside, avoiding stairs, or frequently saying, "I just feel tired lately, and I don't know why"? According to research published in JAMA Internal Medicine, 70% of women who experienced a heart attack reported feeling extreme fatigue in the month leading up to it. And sadly, most thought it was just lack of sleep or getting older. I once heard an elderly man say, "I used to walk to the market every morning without fail, but now I feel dizzy just stepping outside." That's not just age catching up. That could be a heart that's no longer pumping blood as efficiently as before. Advice for you: if you experience new, unexplained fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, especially if it's paired with shortness of breath, dizziness, or light palpitations, get your heart checked as soon as possible. Remember, your body never lies. When it whispers, listen, because if you don't, one day it may have to scream. Sign number 2. Shortness of breath. Have you ever felt like you just can't catch your breath? Not after running, not after exercise, but suddenly a heavy chest, needing to stop halfway up the stairs to gasp for air? That's not just old age or being out of shape. That could be your heart struggling for oxygen. According to the American Heart Association, shortness of breath is one of the most important early warning signs of a heart attack, appearing weeks or even a month beforehand. And here's the scary part: it often comes without chest pain. When the heart can't pump blood effectively to the lungs, fluid builds up, making you feel like you're drowning from the inside. You might think it's asthma, a cold, or just fatigue. But it's often your heart waving a red flag. An elderly friend once told me, "I was just watering the garden, and in less than 5 minutes, I had to sit down, gasping." Thought it was just tiredness, but the doctor said it was early heart failure. If you experience shortness of breath during everyday activities like walking indoors, Climbing a few steps, lying flat, and needing to prop yourself up with pillows, don't ignore it. Don't wait. It's not just age, it could be your heart's final whisper. Write it down when it happens, how bad it is, and if it comes with fatigue, persistent cough, or palpitations, get an ECG or heart ultrasound. One early checkup can prevent a late resuscitation. Sign number 3. Chest pain or tightness. Have you ever felt like there's a rock pressing on your chest? It's not sharp like a cut. It's not stabbing like a stomachache. It's a deep, squeezing, heavy pressure, as if an invisible hand is gripping your chest. That could be angina, the classic sign of a heart deprived of oxygen. According to Mayo Clinic, chest pain or discomfort is the most common symptom of a heart attack, but it doesn't look the same for everyone. In men, it's often intense and obvious. In women and the elderly, it's vague, mild, and often mistaken for indigestion or gas. An older gentleman once told me, "Every time I ate, I felt a little tightness in my chest. Thought I was just too full. Turns out, it was a warning of blocked arteries." So remember, if you're unsure, check your heart. Never self-diagnose. Be especially cautious if the pain radiates to your left arm, back, neck, or jaw, feels like pressure or comes with shortness of breath, occurs during activity, emotion, or even at rest. Treat your heart like a child it cries when it's in pain. But sometimes, its cries come as a quiet squeeze. If you feel chest discomfort, don't wait to see if it passes. Get your heart checked, especially if you have high blood pressure, diabetes, or high cholesterol. Sign number 4. Unusual cold sweating. Have you ever woken up drenched in cold sweat, even though the room was cool? Or suddenly started sweating heavily while sitting still? It's not just the flu, not just nerves. It could be your heart sending an urgent warning. A study in the journal Circulation, American Heart Association, revealed over 40% of heart attack patients reported experiencing unusual cold sweats 1 to 2 weeks before the event. Why the sweating? When your heart lacks oxygen, the body activates the fight-or-flight response, triggering your sweat glands to cool down under internal stress. But this isn't regular sweat. It's cold, clammy, sticky, often paired with chills, trembling, and a vague sense of dread. A friend once told me, "I was just washing dishes when I suddenly broke out in sweat. My hands shook. The weather was fine. Thought it was low blood sugar, but the doctor called it a cardiac red flag." Take special note if the cold sweat comes with mild chest pressure, dizziness or exhaustion, unexplained anxiety, rapid breathing or shallow breaths. If you sweat for no clear reason without heat, movement, or alcohol, especially while at rest. Log the time, symptoms, and sensations. If it happens more than once, go see a cardiologist immediately. Remember, heart attacks don't always happen like in the movies, sudden collapse, clutching the chest. Sometimes, they begin with just a single drop of cold sweat. Sign number 5. Pain radiation to shoulder, arm, jaw, or back. Have you ever seen someone feel pain in their left shoulder or numbness in their arm with no injury or strain? Some think it's a muscle pull. Others blame cervical spondylosis. But few suspect the heart. In truth, the heart can trick us. It often sends its pain elsewhere. According to the American Heart Association, heart attack pain isn't limited to the chest. It can radiate to the shoulders, left arm, neck, jaw, or upper back, a phenomenon known as referred pain. One 55-year-old woman shared she felt a tight, pulling ache in her mid-back. She thought she'd slept wrong. Days later, she had a sudden, severe heart attack. Why? Because nerves from the heart. And these areas share pathways to the brain. The brain gets confused about where the pain is coming from. Common pain areas during a heart event. Left arm, dull ache, heaviness, or tingling. Left or both shoulders, deep pressure or soreness, neck or jaw, tightness or unusual pain. Upper back, between shoulder blades, deep, persistent tension. If the pain isn't movement-related, doesn't change when touched or massaged, and is paired with fatigue, breathlessness, or sweating, it could be cardiac. Advice: don't dismiss strange pain in the shoulders, jaw, back, or left arm. Especially if you're at risk: diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol. Track when and where it happens, and consult a heart specialist right away. Remember, not all pain comes from where it begins. Sometimes, the heart aches, but the pain echoes through the left arm. Sign number 6. Indigestion, nausea. Sometimes, after a light meal, not greasy, not heavy, you feel bloated, nauseous, or uncomfortable. You chalk it up to your stomach acting up. You take a digestion pill. But when it keeps happening, and you're noticing mild upper abdominal pressure, recurring nausea, or persistent indigestion, it may not be your stomach. It may be your heart. The heart and stomach share nerve pathways. When the heart lacks blood, the brain might misinterpret it as a stomach issue. According to the Cleveland Clinic, women having a heart attack often report nausea, indigestion, or upper abdominal pain, without classic chest pain. One elderly woman spent 3 days with stomach pain and trouble swallowing. She thought it was gastritis. But the ECG revealed a heart attack in progress. Digestive symptoms that might signal heart trouble. Persistent indigestion, unrelated to meals. Nausea without fever or diarrhea. A choking feeling in the throat or chest. Stomach pain that doesn't improve with antacids. If these symptoms occur, especially with fatigue, cold sweat, or dizziness, don't assume it's just the stomach. Check your heart. Not every heart attack starts in the chest. Sometimes, it begins in the gut. Sign number 7. Dizzy, turnip. You're walking normally, then suddenly feel dizzy. You're standing, and the room starts to spin. You're sitting, but feel like you're about to faint. Most people say, maybe I stood up too fast. Probably just low blood pressure. Skipped breakfast this morning. But often, it's not low sugar. It's a lack of blood to the brain, from the heart. According to the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, unexplained dizziness, especially with fatigue, shortness of breath, or chest pain, can be an early sign of a heart attack. When the heart fails to deliver enough blood to the brain, blood pressure drops, and you lose balance. Some feel fluttering in the chest or momentary vision blackout. A 58-year-old man told me, "I was just washing my face when everything spun. I almost fell. My wife dragged me to the doctor. Turns out, my coronary artery was 90% blocked." Pay attention if dizziness is paired with rapid or irregular heartbeat, cold sweat, weak limbs, or confusion. Trouble focusing or nearly fainting. If dizziness is frequent, sudden, and unrelated to motion or food, and you have heart risk factors, get checked immediately. The heart doesn't need to stop beating to warn you. Sometimes, it just makes you fall, so you wake up before it's too late. You've just learned 7 early warning signs of heart disease. Maybe you've experienced 1 or 2 before. Maybe you've ignored them, thinking they were just signs of aging, stress, or fatigue. But now you know. These signals aren't harmless. They're whispers from your heart before it cries out in pain. So, what can you do? Listen to your body. Don't ignore the little signs. Get regular heart checkups, especially if you're over 40 or have a family history. Make small daily changes. Sleep better. Eat less salt. Avoid bad fats. And stay lightly active. A healthy heart doesn't come from luck. It comes from small, conscious choices made every day. And if this video reminded you of someone, a parent, a relative, an elderly neighbor, share it with them. You might just save a heart. Thank you for watching until the end. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. More tips on senior heart health are coming your way. Until then, stay well, stay proactive, and stay loving. Because we only get one heart.